The mirror in the hallway still shows the same old face, but something moved behind my eyes I can't quite name or place. I cleared a shelf on Sunday, took maybe 20 minutes flat. I thought it would feel harder, I didn't know I'd feel like that. Not angry, not undone, just standing in the light, wondering how I lived so long, thinking small was right. I am better than this, better than what I settled for. I am better than this, and I knew it long before I stopped asking why he chose her. That question doesn't live here anymore. I am better than this, I am better than before. He left a voicemail in November that I never played all the way through. Something about being sorry, the way people say sorry when they're through. I deleted it on Tuesday, standing in the grocery store. Between the bread and the coffee, I felt nothing, then I felt more. Not angry, not undone, just standing in the light, understanding now the difference between love and keeping quiet all your life. I am better than this, better than what I settled for. I am better than this, and I knew it long before I stopped asking why he chose her. That question doesn't live here anymore. I am better than this, I am better than before. I was the one who stayed too long, kept the door locked, the light on, kept believing what he couldn't give was something I could earn. And I don't blame him anymore, I blame the girl who learned that loving less than she deserved was all that she was worth. I am better than this, better than what I settled for. I am better than this, and I knew it long before. I am not what he decided, I am not the sum of what I lost. I am better than this, I am worth every cost. I am better, I always was.
She leaves a lamp on when she reads, long after I have closed my eyes. The light comes through my sleep somehow, like something warm I recognize. 30 years of this same lamp, the Same sad, same old creaking spring. I've slept through storms and funerals, but never once through that small thing. When people ask me how we made it, like there's a trick I never told, I just say, you choose them every morning, even on the mornings that feel cold. Her side of the bed is warm, and that's the whole of it. Her side of the bed is home. Every night I come back to it. I've been lost, I've been far away, but I always knew where I belonged. Her side of the bed is warm, and that's been true all along. We had one bad year, just one, where we slept like strangers back to back. I'd lie there counting all my reasons, planning all the things I'd never pack. And then one night she reached across, not asking, just her hand in mine. And everything I'd been rehearsing just dissolved somewhere in the dark that time. And people ask me how we made it, like endurance is a kind of art. I just say, sometimes love's not a feeling, it's a hand that finds you in the dark. Her side of the bed is warm, and that's the whole of it. Her side of the bed is home. Every night I come back to it. I've been lost, I've been far away, but I always knew where I belonged. Her side of the bed is warm, and that's been true all along. I don't know how to say it clearly, the way the poets always could. I just know that when she's sleeping, everything feels like it should. And I've held a lot of things in this life, and let a lot of things go too, but I never once let go of this, and she never let go too. Her side of the bed is warm, and that's the whole of it. Her side of the bed is home, and I am sure of it. All the years and all the mornings, all the things we almost weren't. Her side of the bed is warm, and that's the most. That's all I ever learned.
6:15, the kitchen window. The neighbor's dog was barking slow. I made 1 cup instead of 2 and watched the steam just come and go. I stood there longer than I needed, waiting for the ache to start. But the morning just kept being morning, and I kept having just my heart. And it wasn't what I thought it'd be. No fall and no collapse, just this ordinary Tuesday light and coffee and exhale. He always took the window seat, said the light was better there. I used to sit with my back to it, didn't think to say it wasn't fair. I moved the chairs around that Wednesday, put mine where it used to be, and sat there with the morning sun coming in darkly on me. I didn't do it out of anger, it just seemed like the right thing now, to take the seat that always should have been mine, and I don't even know how. And it wasn't what I thought it'd be. No ceremony, no relief, just ordinary Wednesday sun on a woman relearning what the word belonging means. On the first day after, the world looked just the same. The trees were still the trees outside, the street still
My truck broke down on 41 on a Tuesday in the middle of the rain. I sat there with the hazards on and dialed you without thinking once again. Not because you know about engines, not because you'd have a thing to say, just because the first thing that I do when anything goes wrong is call your name. And I know that sounds like nothing, like a habit or a reflex worn too smooth. But I've had other numbers in this phone, and none of them were you. None of them were you. You're still the one I call when the day goes sideways on me. You're still the one I want to find at home when I come in. 20 years of this and counting, and I'd choose it all again. You're still the one I call. You're still the one I'm in. We stood in line at the DMV, the longest Tuesday of my life. You brought a crossword and a coffee that made it feel like it was fine. I watched you filling in the blanks with that same pen you've had for years, the one with the cap that doesn't click right, that you refuse to throw away, my dear. And I thought, this is what it is, not the big occasions or the vows, it's the crossword at the DMV, it's the Tuesday in the how, it's the how of all of it, the small and daily how. And I know that sounds like nothing, like ordinary dressed in ordinary clothes, but ordinary with the right one is the only thing I know, the only thing I know. You're still the one I call when the day goes sideways on me. You're still the one I want to find at home when I come in. 20 years of this and counting, and I'd choose it all again. You're still the one I call. You're still the one I'm in. I'm not a man who talks this way out loud to more than just a few, but I will say it plain and clear. The best decision I have ever made was you. Not the job, not the house we built, not anything that I can hold. Just you, just this, just all of it. That's the only story worth being told. You're still the one I call. You're still the one I reach for. You're still the one I want when the whole day falls apart. Every year I find you different. Every year I find you more. You're still the one I call. you're still the one I'm for. You're still the one I'm for.
The photographs are in a box now, not thrown away, just put somewhere. I'm not ready to decide what keeping means, but I'm not leaving them out there. I drove past the restaurant on Friday, the one we always called ours first. I didn't stop, I didn't slow down. It felt like winning or like thirst. I don't know what I'm walking toward, I just know what I'm leaving. And there's a difference in those two things that I'm only now believing. I am halfway to myself again, not all the way, but moving there. I am halfway through the in-between, learning how to breathe the air. Some days I almost recognize the woman looking back at me. I am halfway to myself again, and halfway is enough for now. That's enough for me. I found an earring by the baseboard, one I'd lost 2 winters back. The kind of small thing that just disappears and then just quietly comes back. I put it on and wore it to work, didn't mention it to anyone, but it felt like something small returning, like a door left open to the sun. I don't know what I'm walking toward, I just know the weight is different now. And I'm learning that not knowing can be trusted somehow. I am halfway to myself again, not all the way, but moving there. I am halfway through the in-between, learning how to breathe the air. Some days I almost recognize the woman looking back at me. I am halfway to myself again, and halfway is enough for now. And that's enough for me. I used to think I know the moment when the hurt finally let go. Some clean, dramatic kind of ending, like a scene in a film I know. But it wasn't like that at all. It was Tuesday, it was ordinary. It was driving home from the drugstore. It was nothing worth the story. It was just me and just the quiet, and I wasn't hurting quite so much. And I thought, there it is, there's the beginning. I am halfway to myself again, not all the way, but close enough. I am halfway through the in-between, and I am learning this is love, the kind that doesn't need another, the kind that starts and ends with me. I am halfway to myself again, and I can
boxes in the attic still have her handwriting on the sides, the one she labeled 20 years ago, before we had the space inside. I never moved them, never opened them, just let them hold whatever's there. Some things don't need to be revisited, some things just need the room and air. There are things that love accumulates that never fit in any frame. Not the photographs, not the anniversaries, but the weight of staying just the same. Everything we kept is more than what we saved. Everything we kept lives in the life we made. Not in boxes, not in storage, not in anything you'd find. Everything we kept is who we are. It lives right here in mine, right here, right now. Everything we kept is what we are. She burned the casserole on Christmas Eve, the first year in the new house on the hill. We ate cereal and laughed till midnight, and I think of it when things get still. I'd give back all the perfect dinners, every good occasion, every year, for one more bowl of cereal at midnight, with the burnt smell still in the air. There are things that love accumulates that no one thinks to write things down. Not the firsts, not the big occasions, but the ordinary, unremarkable, profound. Everything we kept is more than what we saved. Everything we kept, oh, lives in the life we made. And not in boxes, not in storage, not in anything you'd find. Everything we kept is who we are. It lives right here in mine, right here, right now. Everything we kept is what we are. I think the word for what we have is not romantic, not dramatic. It's more like permanent, the way a river makes a canyon. Not by force, but just by going. Year after year, the same direction, wearing down a stone so slowly that you only see it when you stop and look. And what I see when I stop and look is her and all of this, and something I could never put away. Even if I tried, even if I all the everything we kept is the only thing I know, the only thing I know.
There was a man who looked right through me, like I was something in his way. I rearranged myself around him for longer than I'd like to say. I kept the house, I kept the silence, I kept the version he preferred. I wore the shape of someone smaller and told myself it was deserved. And then one morning I was standing on the porch in the November cold, watching him drive up to somewhere that didn't have a place for me, I know. And I stood there until the car was gone, and I thought, not anymore. I don't know what's on the other side of this, but I know what it isn't for. Someone chose me, not because I made it easy, not because I stayed so small. Someone chose me, chose my whole life, chose my history, chose the parts I tried to hide from all. And I didn't know what that felt like until I felt it and I recognized it. Someone finally chose me, that's all. He brought me flowers on a Thursday, not a birthday, not an anniversary, just Thursday and just flowers. And I stood there not quite knowing how to be. I left because I didn't know what else to do. He said, what's wrong? I said, nothing, nothing's wrong. I said, I'm just not used to this. I said, it's been so long. And he looked at me the way I'd waited for, not like a problem to be solved, just like a woman would the afternoon, just like the whole of something, not a part
photograph is from the state fair, 1980 something, hard to tell. She's laughing at whatever I just said, the way she laughed before she knew me well. Her eyes are somewhere off the frame, like something caught her just before the click. And I'm looking right at her like a man who doesn't know how good he has it yet. I've kept it in my wallet all these years, the corners worn, the color going flat. And I take it out sometimes on Fridays, and I think I didn't ruin that. Some men let the good things slip right through. Some men never learn the difference between life and just a holding place, between a woman and the distance. We are the lucky ones who stayed when staying was the hard part. We are the lucky ones who learn to love with the whole heart. Not the easy version, not the good days only, every season, every long way through. We are the lucky ones, me and you. On Sunday mornings she still hums while she's getting dressed in the next room. I don't know what song it ever is, she doesn't know she's doing it, I assume. I listen to it every Sunday morning for longer than most people's marriages. And I never want it to go quiet, I never want that sound to finish. Some men stop noticing the small things, let them blur into the background noise. Some men don't know what they have until the morning it's no longer, until the room's too quiet. We are the lucky ones who stayed when staying was the hard part. We are the lucky ones who learn to love with the whole heart. Not the easy version, not the good days only, every season, every long way through. We are the lucky ones, me and you. I'm not telling you we had it easy. There were years I didn't have the words. There were nights we went to sleep like strangers, and mornings I wasn't sure. But we came through the other side of it, and what we have now on this side is something that can't be manufactured. You just have to live through it to find. We are the lucky ones who stayed when staying hurt a little. We are the lucky ones who found the love inside the middle. Not the beginning, not the easy warmth of new chose you.
Put your name in past tense now, the way you do with old addresses, the place you lived before you moved on, before you knew what a person deserves. You were the one who taught me badly what it means when someone stays. You showed me all the wrong definitions, and I learned them anyway. And I held on longer than I should have, believed in things that weren't quite true. But every lesson has a price on it, and I paid mine through you. The lesson he left me was worth everything it cost. The lesson he left me taught me what I almost lost. I didn't know what love looked like until I saw what it was now. The lesson he left me was the greatest thing I got. Last April on my birthday, he made me breakfast in my kitchen, spelled my name in blueberries on the plate. I stood there and I couldn't speak, not because I wasn't happy, just because nobody ever had. Nobody ever made me breakfast, nobody ever thought of something like that. And I thought of you for just a second, not with hurt, not with regret, just the way you think of winter, when the first warm day has come and yet you remember what the cold was, so the warmth means something more. That's what you gave me without knowing, that's what you were for. And I held on longer than I needed, but I came out knowing more. Every lesson has a price on it. I don't owe you anything anymore. The lesson he left me was worth everything it cost. The lesson he left me taught me what I almost lost. I didn't know what love looked like until I saw what it was now. The lesson he left me was to this morning that is finally mine.
We drove past the old apartment, the one we had before the kids were born. The porch light's different, someone painted the door, and the maple tree we planted's getting torn. You said, I can't believe that's still there, meaning the coffee shop across the street. And I said, I can't believe we're still here. And you smiled like that's nothing, that's just neat. And maybe to you it's just the years, the way a calendar turns. But I have been aware of every single one, and what each one of them was worth. 40 years and one more after that, that's all I ever want. 40 years and you still make me feel like the man who got the most. I've been grateful, I've been humble, I've been yours in all the ways that count. 40 years and one more. There was a year I didn't say enough, when work had taken most of what I had. You never asked for more than I could give, and I didn't give you more. That makes me sad. Not the kind of sad that swallows you, just the kind you carry like a stone, the kind that makes you softer going forward, the kind that makes you grateful for the phone. It rings and it's still you on the other end, after everything we walked around, after all the ways I could have lost this, after everything you're still the sound that makes the house a house, that makes the day come down. Maybe to you it's just the years, the way a river finds its bend. But I have been a man who knew his luck, and I'll know it right up to the end. 40 years and one more after that, that's all I ever want. 40 years and you still was meant for you. 40 years and one more after that. That's the only thing I'm sure of. 40 years and you're still standing here, and I'm still looking at you. Not because we had to, not because it's easy, because there's nowhere else I'd ever be. 40 years and one more, and one more, and one more after that with you.